Welcome to the Crypto Boss Andrew live stream. Let's get started. A Sunday stream, a little bit different than normal. Let's look at the Fear and Greed Index and go from there. It's 7:50 yet. I'm going to start at 8 p.m. Central Time. I do also still need to get the TikTok thing going right now. So let me just do that really quick. Hopefully you all are having a good Sunday. It's a beautiful day here. It's 80 degrees. And it was snowing 13 days ago, so it's kind of interesting. We got 6 inches of snow 13 days ago, and now 13 days later, it feels like a cool summer day. It got up to 80 degrees here in Wisconsin, but we'll see what happens. So it is April 14th, and we are going to, again, due to daylight savings time, I am going to start going live at 8 p.m. Central Time versus 7 p.m. Central Time, Saturdays and Mondays. Obviously, today is Sunday, but yeah. So let me get this set up on TikTok and we will get started. I don't know what just happened. So, yeah, I'm going to get the music going as well. Let me get that up and running. So, I got to find a song that makes sense for our live stream, and then we can go from there. So give me a second to do that, and we'll get started here in about a minute. All right, go over to YouTube, and we're gonna get some background music. If I can find the app. Okay. So BOEM was just kind of you know, I was long on it and it didn't work out. So we'll see what happens. But a lot of crypto, this doesn't look good to me on the smaller time. That's the 1 minute time frame, but like that's a rounded top on the smaller time frames for BOEM. So it's likely you keep going down, but who knows? The 15 is trying to make a higher low right now, so anything is really possible. Yeah. So let's get started here at the Fear Greed. Okay, Fear Greed Index. We are still in greed at 72. We were in extreme greed before, but technically, if you think about it, we still have a long ways to go back down before we really could get a major bounce. I don't really see a Bitcoin major bounce coming until after the halving, which is in about 2 weeks, I think. But still, I think Bitcoin probably doesn't get a bounce till well after the halving. So I would say 2 to 4 weeks at least before we see a massive pump again. But with that being said, we can go over and look at the charts. This is the Coinbase chart right now on Bitcoin. So I'm just going to record my analysis here. I'm not extremely bullish. I'm not extremely bearish. I'm kind of neutral right now because Bitcoin is kind of indecisive. But let's look at Bitcoin right here, right now. As you can see, Bitcoin is sitting at 65,559. I have talked about for the last month or close to a month, the Bitcoin weekly support is $65,500. I want to see a weekly candle close at that level. Let's see where we close the weekly candle that just closed. You still have 6 days and 23 hours on that new candle. And let's just see. So here's the new... Yeah, this is the new candle. Wait, no, that's the old candle. 67. So Bitcoin, I think, closed at 67. I don't know where it closed at. But hold on. Bitcoin, I think Bitcoin closed below 65.5, I believe. That's not a good sign for the weekly. And it closed right at that weekly support at 65.5. And we did go way below it, down to 60,500. So you went $5,000 below that weekly support. So it's likely, in my opinion, that we're dumping to the downside. Also, the weekly chart has more downside. But I do believe the 3-day chart for Bitcoin's oversold. The 2-day chart for Bitcoin's oversold. The daily's really oversold. So it's likely that, you know, you could still hold this level on the weekly time frame. This is the bullpen I had on Bitcoin on the daily. To me, you basically broke to the downside, but this could also be a double bottom. This is a bullish scenario that this is a double bottom at 60,584, which is that's another great support right there. So 65.5 is strong support, and now it's about to become resistance unless you get back above it. And 60,600 is, in my opinion, even stronger support than 65.5. So really, you could say we're still above weekly support. But I am not very bullish unless Bitcoin is really above 65.5. So the next support, if you don't get a back above 65.5, is back down to 60,600, and below that 57,000 is the next support. If you get back above 65,500, your next resistance is 71. 365. So that's kind of what I'm looking at this. That's kind of what I'm looking at. I said if you close a weekly candle above 65,500, I believe we're going to start our journey to the upside. That could still be at play here with this double bottom, and then we could get back into this pennant, and this could just be a bearish fake out, trying to get a bunch of people to short, and then we just go to the upside. It's possible. But right now, if Bitcoin is not above 65,500, I would not be long, and it is pretty much that simple. I mean, you're at that level right now. So let's go to the smaller time frames and kind of see what's going on. The 4-hour chart, I don't like where the 4-hour chart is. The 4-hour chart suggests you do roll over here. Like that's about to make a lower high. The previous high in the 4-hour time frame was 71,365, which I just said is weekly, or it's not weekly, but it is resistance to the upside. So to me, the 4-hour chart looks bearish to me. The 8-hour chart has gas. The 12-hour chart has gas. The daily has gas. But like the 4-hour and under, it looks bearish. We'll see what happens. The higher time frames could overtake the 4-hour, but that's what I'm looking at. So really, if you want to be bullish, you have to get back above 65,500, and then your next resistance really on the macro scale is 71,365. And if you don't get back above 65.5, I'm looking for 60,584 and then 57K. And I do know, I looked at Bookmap before the stream, that says we have more orders at 52,000 than above us. So Bookmap suggests, and that we go to the downside. So we'll see what happens. But I'm more, if I had to take a call right now, I'd be short or not in a position. I wouldn't be long. But the daily is ready to bounce, so that could happen. You could also be saying we're in a double bottom, and then you get back into that bull pen. So anything's possible. But if you don't get back above 65.5, I'd be looking for more downside. Right now, it's trying to flip that, so we'll see what happens. But that's pretty much my higher time frame analysis. So that's what I'd be watching out for right now, is 65,500 to flip into support. That's really all I got, and that is where I stand on Bitcoin. If you guys have requests for altcoins, let me know in the comment section below. But also remember, if Bitcoin does tumble, you know, it's likely a lot of the altcoins will take a tumble to the downside as well. So just something to remember. Thank you for the follow. Let me just save this video and then we can get going as well. We are live as well on YouTube. If you guys want to go check that out and see the entire screen, we're live over there. Alright, so thank you for the follow. 45k supporter below. What do I think of Bonk? It's a meme coin. Thank you for the follow, Andrew. Thank you for the follow, Forex. Thank you for the follow number. And Dr. Dennis, thank you for the follow. You want to see Swift coin? Let me look at some of these coins. Let me look at this one. And the first one I see, and maybe I missed a few, but the first one I saw was C-Pool. I don't know what this is. If it's something not legit, I can't look at it. It's on Bybit, so we'll see what it is. The weekly chart right now, I mean, there's no data, so let's check out the 3-day time frame right now. The 3-day time frame just started getting data on the stock RSI, which it is oversold right now. The 2-day is oversold as well. The daily is trying to get the bounce. I also see the daily, not only is the daily oversold, you know, that's a falling wedge. So, I mean, I don't love this. There's not a ton of data here, but C-Pool on Bybit is in a bull, or in a falling wedge, I should say. Measure move is 47 cents. I mean, that's not a horrible trade. There's not a lot of price history to go off of. So really, I would take everything with a grain of salt. But that's what I'm looking at. It's not a horrible trade setup if you're trying to trade the higher time frame. So I mean, I will thank you for that request. That's actually a solid request. You know, it's not a lot of price history, but it is. I do like that setup overall. Like on the daily, that's a great setup. I did not want to add that extra support there, but anyways, thank you. That's actually a really solid request. I appreciate that. I appreciate when we actually get solid requests that, you know, there's some good TA there. This was another shitcoin that I was looking at that I probably would now definitely not touch. But I started watching this when it first came out on MEXC, just for the heck of it. Now there's no data, so I'm just going to delete that. I don't even want to look at that. I'm not even going to show you guys that because that just scares me. And that there's no volume you guys can kind of see in the candle, so I'm not going to talk about that. Thank you for the follow. Diamond beats everything. And then SWFT was the next request. SWFT. This is on Coinbase, so this I know will be a solid project. Whether or not there's a play to be made on it short term is another question. So I had this kind of in a cup and handle. That was your bowl. That was your cup. I mean, that was the bowl. And then you're trying to get the handle here. You're kind of trying to do it, but not really. I think we went way higher than I anticipated. But technically, I guess it could still be a cup and handle with a measure move up to 2.6. That's still possible. To me, I don't know the markup on this, but to me, I don't know. I don't know. When I was looking at it, the measure move was 626%. So to me, it still looks bullish. Like the weekly is about to make a higher low. That's extremely bullish to me. The 3-day is making a higher low. The 2-day, same thing. Daily is about to bounce here as well. So if you just look at the weekly, this thing is probably about to rip. I mean, the weekly still has more downside though, but like the daily looks really good to me. And I could still see this being in this rounded bottom, which is really bullish, and then I could also see this becoming, like I said, a cup and handle. So to me, the measure move up to 2.6 is still there on the weekly and on the 3-day. So I would just be patient. This is still bullish to me. The weekly is about to make a higher low more than likely. So to me, yeah, 2.6 probably longer term is in play. So with Bitcoin being indecisive, I don't know if it, I could look at the smaller time frames, but the larger time frames looks really good to me. And it's probably been a month since I've looked at this, but really it still looks good to me. So SWFTC looks good to me. And yeah, I think the first one looked a little bit more exciting to, trade. But, SWFTC is another trade setup. Although I don't think you can trade it on MEXC. So, I mean, it also, it's on Coinbase though. So it's probably a solid project to some extent. It's not a scam. Sushi. Can I look at Sushi Coin? Sure. Alright. I don't really want to look at Sushi Coin. This thing looks like it's about to keep going zero. Like, it was at $22 and now you're at $1? Oh my god. Let's start on the... I guess we'll do the 3-day because the 3-day is well below the 200, which is at $3.31. To me, this is only... Like, I wouldn't buy this. The 2-day is below the 200. The daily is below the 200 just barely, but it is. Yeah, that's at $1.16. Daily is trying to get the balance, but that's like a lower high. So to me, I don't even want to look at Sushi. That looks like a scam. I mean, I know it's not. It's been around a while, but the chart looks horrible. So to me, there's no trade to be had on that on the higher time frames. Thank you, Jobin, for the follow. Thank you for the follow, and thank you for the follow, Mad Meek. When Lambo? I don't know. Hopefully this summer because yeah. I believe this summer Bitcoin's going to go nuts actually. I do believe this is going to be an awesome summer for me personally, financially, and yeah. So Dogecoin, Shiba, Cardano, and Litecoin. I don't know if I could do all of them. I mean, you know what? If you guys hit the likes, I'll do all of them. So let's look at Dogecoin and then we'll go from there. I'm just gonna do like the higher time frame trades. I'm not gonna look at like the day. I'm not gonna look at like the 4-hour for most of this. Some of them I might, but I don't want to get caught up in the smaller time frames while Bitcoin is kind of chopping around the 65.5 level. So really the weekly on Doge is pretty simple, pretty cut and dry. If you stay above the weekly support at 13.5 cents, I see more upside coming. But the weekly has more downside, so be cautious. The 3-day is oversold. I'm sure the daily is oversold like a lot of coins. It's just kind of consolidating right now between really 23 cents and, and 12.3. So you could actually say more like 12.3. If you stay above 12.3, then it's very likely this thing continues up. If you don't stay above 12.3, the next step is 10.5 cents, and then below that, 7 cents basically. So Dogecoin's pretty simple, but with Bitcoin chopping around, I'm not going to go into the smaller time frames, really. So the next one was Shiba. If you guys want me to go into more in depth, then just send me like some kind of gift or something, then I will. But otherwise, the request, I'm just going to do like the higher time frame TA on. So Shiba right now on the... Well, let me start on the weekly. So the weekly has more downside. The weekly, to me, that kind of looks like a flag. I kind of like that in the weekly. Let's go to the 3-day chart. The 3-day chart also, yeah, to me, like, if we just start from fresh, because I don't have much on here. If we just start fresh, that is resistance right there. I want to mark that as resistance right there at 4.5. And then to the downside, support. But I see this as like a falling wedge, bull pennant, whatever you want to call it. That's more like a falling wedge to me on Shiba. I'd be cautious. Bitcoin is really indecisive, but to me, I would wait on this trade. It looks like you might break to the downside here, even though it's oversold on the 2-day. But the measure move is 6-0. Looking at the daily right now on Shiba, the daily looks like you could push through, though. The daily looks pretty bullish to me, so, you know, it's probably a higher risk trade setup because Bitcoin's indecisive. But to me right now, it doesn't look horrible. The next macro resistance on the weekly is 4.5. Support's down there 8, which is a long ways away, really. If I go back to the weekly, let's kind of map out the support and resistance. There's really, wow, it went straight up, straight down. The next weekly resistance, if you get above 45, though, is 8.9. I also see resistance at 35 as well. And I see also 23 is going to be acting as resistance, and that's kind of where you are right now. And that's all the way back from the price action of 2022 of February. So we'll see what happens, but that's kind of what I'm looking at right now on Shiba Coin. Cardano was the other one. Green, it's a green day. Let's go. Well, yeah, it's that. Yeah. We had a massacre the other day, so Cardano right now on the weekly is probably going to rip just once Bitcoin takes off. That's like, to me, a rounded bottom on the weekly. That's a very good sign. I'm sure that Cardano's at an absolute buy right now, in my opinion. Not financial advice, but that's probably going to make a rounded bottom. Maybe become a cup and handle, but that's definitely a rounded bottom. Although it's kind of struggling right now, so you want to see this start going up. If it does, and then maybe I could be wrong. But the weekly's... Wow, weekly's already oversold on Cardano. This is the first coin I've seen tonight where it's already oversold. Most coins are like at 50 on the stock RSI on the weekly. The 3-day looks bearish to me. Well, it's above the 200 on the 3-day, which is down there at 37. The 2-day for Cardano, same thing. And the daily is also about to rip right sitting on the 200. So really, in my opinion, if Cardano can hold this last local low here at 40 cents, Cardano could really have a nice move to the upside. Next resistance is that local high at 80 cents. So that's kind of what I'm looking at for Cardano. If I go back to the weekly, let's kind of see where our next resistance is to the upside. Obviously, all-time highs up there at $3 is going to be resistance. But before that, you also were sitting on this 99-cent level of support for a long time. So $1 is going to be psychological resistance, it seems, for Cardano. But if you break $1, it kind of went, you know, it kind of dumped really fast. So I could see it going from $1 to $3, you know, in a few months. It's a huge market cap coin, so that's, you know, not that crazy for it to take longer than a few hours to pump like that. But I believe if Cardano did break $1, it would go to $3 probably sooner than later. It's a high market cap coin, so it's not going to do it in a day. But like I said, 1 to 2 months is very possible, maybe a little quicker. But I could see it going parabolic really for a high market cap coin like Cardano if it breaks $1. So that's kind of your price levels to watch out for on Cardano. And then I think that's it. Futures look good. Cardano is cooked. Thoughts on XRP? I wouldn't touch it. Thank you for the follow, Jessica. Is XRP better than Cardano? No, I don't think so. I don't even think it's... I mean, they do different things. And second of all, I don't know why... No. XRP is pretty much a stable coin. And at some point it will rip, probably, maybe. But last bull cycle didn't even make an all-time high. So, you know, I would be... not interested in Cardano, but that is just me. Or not Cardano, XRP. So that's just me. Cody looks like a scam, like it's going to zero. It was at 28 cents. Now you're down to 10 cents. I mean, maybe it'd be great to swing trade. It went from 10 cents to, I don't know, 10 cents to 30 cents pretty quickly. This is the weekly, so I guess it wasn't that quick. I guess the weekly is making a higher low if you stay above 10 cents. Wait, no, the low is 3 cents. In the bear market, Cody went down to around 3 cents. Then it pumped all the way up to 28 cents. That'd be a nice return on your money, really, though, if you think about it. And really, to me, Cody broke support here, which was 13.5 because you used it as resistance back here. But you went up so fast, you're going to come down fast. It's likely now Cody's coming back down. I mean... If you don't get back above 13.5, the next support is 3.6. That's kind of scary to look at. To me, Cody's, I don't even want to look at it anymore. The 3-day chart is oversold, the daily is oversold, and the 2-day has to be oversold as well. So Cody's, to me, I wouldn't touch it. The other request was Manta, which, let me see if I can get this on. Well, I can do the Bybit chart. Manta doesn't have any data on the Bybit chart. Let's do the Binance chart. Hopefully this is better. Maybe it does have data. Maybe that's all the price action. I mean, that's the daily. Okay, I don't know. So you got double top there on Manta at $4.10 basically, and then you couldn't hold that last local low, which is right there at $2. And really, Manta is struggling in my humblest of opinions. If you break $1.45, you could come back to wherever it started at. Well, that's, I don't think you're going to go back to 4 cents. Yeah, so if you lose $1.45, it's going to probably capitulate to the downside. I would not be in this, but again, a lot of coins on the daily are oversold. On the 2-day, they look like they're struggling. The 3-day, they're oversold, and the weekly is is about 50 on the stock RSI. So to me, a lot of altcoins look really ready on the daily, 2-day, and 3-day, especially on the daily curving up. So I think a lot of altcoins might rip here. We'll see what happens. Let's go back to BOEM on the daily. BOEM on the daily, same thing. It's getting the curve up on the stock RSI. The 2 days doesn't have any data yet, but I mean, BOEM could rip still. Maybe I got out of my long too early, but we'll see what happens on BOEM. But yeah. Solana's going to explode. What about AVAX? Yeah, no one is on YouTube. All right. AVAX. Let's go look at AVAX. AVAX in this rounded bottom, you obviously kind of failed that setup. And now you're sitting on support at $31. If you break $31, the next stop is $23 on AVAX. It's pretty much that simple. To me, you're also about to lose the 200. If you lose 32.50, you're going to lose the 200-day moving average. So, I mean, to me, AVAX is not a buy right now, but it is making higher lows. The weekly on AVAX is making a higher low. AVAX probably is a buy macro long term, but super short term, AVAX could see lower targets if you break that $31 level. I guess right now you are getting the bounce off $31. It's at $37 right now. So we'll see what happens with AVAX. Long-term, AVAX will probably do very well. There's no data on this one. I can't. I don't know what I mean, that looks like a rounded top and it's done for. I don't know. TIA. There's no data. Not enough data on TIA to really talk about TIA. I don't have any thoughts on base. I don't know. I think base will do well actually, but I don't have any thoughts about buying it. So the weekly on Ondo Finance, not a lot of data. The daily, to me the daily, that's a higher low put in. You had support at 38 cents. Now you have resistance and a local high at $1.05. So that's really the price to beat right now. You're also putting another higher low in at 60 cents. So it looks decent to me on whatever this coin is. So 20 cents, 32 cents, 38 cents, 60 cents are all support. Your next resistance is $1.05 on the finance coin. Will I look at the Solana chart? Sure. Solana on the weekly. Solana was in this falling wedge. Wow, it hit that measurement beautifully up to $206. Now you're sitting on support at $142, and then below that $124, which you got a massive wick off of, and that capitulation probably a few days yesterday, or 2 days ago. I don't even know when it was. So the 3-day chart oversold, the 2-day chart oversold, the daily chart gained the bounce. Off of support at $126. So Solana looks good to go up to $208 again and break that resistance and break the all-time high. Solana probably is going to do very well this bull run. I'm not looking at Pepe Wi-Fi hat. Prop base. I feel like these are just shit coins. What's prop base? I'm scared to look. Oh, it is on MEXC though. Prop. I will at least look at the chart. Prop base on MEXC. It's on spot. This looks good. I'm not looking at... So, the 3-day on this coin is oversold, making a higher low. The 2-day is oversold, making a higher low. The daily, making a higher low. I don't really love that price action, but that is a higher low. So, if you hold this last local low here at 13.4, it's likely to go and make a new all-time high up to 28. This is actually looks like a very decent setup on prop face. If you lose 13.5, I would be out of it. It's like a high-risk trade because if you enter now, your stop loss would be 50% lower. So to me, I wouldn't. I don't know. It's like a gamble in my opinion, but probably it will do well if it is associated with base because I think that is a new and upcoming thing. So prop base, I don't know what it is. I'm assuming it has something to do with the base protocol, and if it does, I think it will do well because I think base is gonna probably become the new thing here sooner than later. We'll see, but I don't know how prop base is associated with base. I'm not sure if they're like the same company or what, but the chart looks good, and the use case is good for the base protocol. I'm not looking at the other meme coin. I don't know what's. I think Solana will outperform Cardano percentage wise. TH is a scam. That's what TH looks like. I can't look at that. There's no data there on TH coin. So yeah, that looks like a shit coin. I'm gonna get some different music in here. This is just like somber music. I don't know about that. So yeah, so TH, you should have shorted that, but I know you can't trade. You can't short spot on MEXC, but that looks, I mean, that looks horrific. It's up 53% today. You would never know by looking at the weekly. I am curious how much volume there is on this coin, though. That's insane. That is like, yeah. There's no volume on that whatsoever. Also, the forward chart's already getting overbought, and you're like the previous high in the forward chart was like probably 10x higher. So that is something I am not gonna touch. So yeah. So I was long on BOEM. That didn't work out very well. But, you know, we'll see what happens. The forward chart's making a lower high. I am actually now in a short on it. I could get wrecked here. But the daily looks like it's about to rip. But, like, you know, the Bitcoin right now, Bitcoin does not get above 65.5 and stay above it. It's likely Bitcoin dumps to 57 to 6. No, the next support is 60,600 and then 57K. If you break those levels, all of these coins, including these, especially the main coins like BOEM, Bonk, Pepe, SHIB, Doge, they will all dump, especially the newer ones like BOEM. So to me, I don't want to be long on BOEM until I see Bitcoin get some stability. And until I see at least the forward chart make a higher low, and right now you're making a lower high. So now, if when the forward chart gets a correction, I want to see it stay above the price level of 7/10 of a penny. If you don't do that, that's extremely bearish. Also, I could see this becoming a rising wedge here right now on BOEM, which it is, and I just noticed that these break down 68% of the time to where they came from. So it's likely you make a new low. If it breaks out, it does break out parabolically. That is a possibility, but you know, it's more likely you go to the downside based on previous price history on this TA, which would be a rising wedge. So we'll see what happens, but it's likely now BOEM is in a rising wedge that I just saw on the 1 hour chart, and you're coming back for a lower low or a double bottom, at least to 7-1. So, if, you know, I don't know. The 1 hour chart is also curving down on BOEM, so it's likely BOEM is probably going to take a tumble here, and I'm short from 9-1. I shorted from 9-1 before this massive dump, like up here, and then it tumbled. I stayed in my short, and now, you know, I was in the red a little bit today, basically at break even now, and we'll see what happens. And, I mean, that's kind of what I'm doing, so yeah. So that's kind of all I got on BOEM. I am on TradingView. Bitcoin derivatives at 68,000 for Friday. I doubt it will drop below that. It's okay. I don't really understand what that means. Bitcoin's below 68K right now. Oh. Yeah, so anyways, that's kind of what I'm looking at. I'm kind of leaning more bearish than bullish, but if Bitcoin can stay above 65.5, then I am bullish, but you're sitting on support, struggling to get above it. Smaller time frames are making lower highs, such as the 4-hour chart on Bitcoin, so I'm leaning bearish for this upcoming week. We'll see what happens on Bitcoin, but I told you where I stand with it, and that is that. So I will leave it at that, and if you guys enjoy this, appreciate if you hit the like, subscribe, share this video with your friends. I'll be back live Monday. 8 p.m. Central Time. If I have to change that again because I work, which I very well might actually, I probably will have to change that to, I might go, I don't know, I gotta figure that. I'll let you guys know on the Telegram when I'm going live next. It'll be Monday or Tuesday, 8 p.m. Central Time, one of the two. But yeah. Also, we have a Patreon if you guys are interested in that, and a free Telegram. So join the Telegram at least to know when I go live, because I think this summer I'm going to be pretty busy. I'm going to have to switch up the times quite a bit, but yeah. I am the first person that looked at BOEM. Thank you for the rose. They smell so good. Wow, 14 roses? Thank you. Wow. And for the friendship necklace. All right. I guess we can be friends, GTR. Thank you for the roses. I will give them to my girlfriend. She'll be very happy about the dozen roses. Appreciate it. Thank you also for the follow, GTR. And wow, more roses. So yeah, that's kind of where I stand in the crypto market. And wow, 31 roses. I will make sure I give those 3 dozen to my girlfriend. She will be very happy and pleased to see that. Thank you. But yeah, that's kind of what I got going on. I'm short on the market right now. Bitcoin getting a little bit of a short squeeze on the smaller time frames. But again, I want to see it stay above 65.5. If you can do that, then we're Gucci. Otherwise, there's really nothing for me to, 1-minute chart looks bullish to me on Bitcoin, but 15 is probably about to make a higher low. So 15 the 15 does want to bounce here on Bitcoin. If that happens, BOEM will probably do the same thing. 15, even though it's in a rising wedge, the 15 on BOEM is bullish. That would be an okay long to take, in my opinion. You're above the 200, really. So yeah, it's not a bad long to take on BOEM right now, just based off the 15-minute time frame. So we'll see what happens. The higher time frame is still, to me, is still in a rising wedge either way. So short term, you can get one more move to the upside, but overall, BOEM. If BOEM breaks 96 and makes a higher high than what we've made since the lows, then I'll be bullish and I'll believe we'll break into the upside. But if you don't break 96, to me, then I can't be long on it. So. What is BT? I've never heard of that. BTCC. I'm scared to look at this. I'm scared to look at this. Bitcoin's at $90,000 in Australia. Or no, Canadian dollar. The weekly on Canadian Bitcoin looks so much more bullish than USD, because that's like a bull pennant forming on the weekly. Maybe this is going to tell us what's going to happen with our Bitcoin dollar to the USD. You never know. That's kind of interesting. I've never looked at this before, but that says you could rip to 140,000. That would be pretty cool. If that happens, I'm sure Bitcoin USD will get a move to the upside as well. So, Bitcoin has life right now. I am using the stock RSI indicator. That's just the one I use. Bitcoin did have bearish divergence there. It did not matter. And yeah, this Canadian Bitcoin looks extremely bullish to me. But yep, that's all I got. I'll be back live tomorrow or Tuesday depending on how things go. But until then, trade safe. Have a great weekend, or rest of your weekend, and I'll see you guys early this week for our next live stream. Thank you for the Starlight Compass. Thank you. Appreciate that. I will use that to guide my trades tonight. I appreciate that. But the only trade I'm in right now is a Bohm short. Let's see if that plays out or not. The 15-minute chart suggests I just get out at break even on that and take a long based on the 15-minute. Let me look at the 10-minute on Bohm. That looks like it wants to bounce. The 7-minute looks like it wants to bounce. The 5-minute, yeah, 5-minute is making a lower high. And the 1 hour needs to dump on you. The 4-hour chart wants to dump on you. So, to me, I'm going to stay in my short on Bohm longer term and see what happens. But that's all I got. I'm going to end the stream. I'm going to post my video to YouTube on the Bitcoin update. I'll do that